What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Us vs. Them YouTube channel. I'm your host, Vince, and we're going to break down the first fight for the main event that we have this weekend. We have Tai Tuivasa versus Louie Sutherland. Tuivasa sitting at a minus 215 right now. He's sitting at a favorite, and then Sutherland on the other side is a plus 180 underdog. Before I get into this breakdown, if I can remind you guys, hit the like button for this video, subscribe to the channel, all that bullshit. And yeah, fuck it. Let's get into this breakdown here. Tuivasa's coming in. Obviously, he's got the experience advantage over Sutherland. He's got a lot more UFC experience, pro MMA experience in general. But he's also coming in for 6 losses in a row. He's his last loss over Talison Teixeira decision. Obviously it's not terrible. Talison Teixeira is kind of an up and comer, but at the same time, he did look terrible at moments in that fight for sure. Started fading. The cardio has kind of always been an issue for Tuivasa. We've also seen that, especially later in his career, we saw him take about a year off or so. Actually longer than that. He was all over Instagram and all that shit, partying and stuff. Didn't seem like he was really training. Got fat, huge. So obviously that's not going to help his cardio. So that's probably going to continue to be an issue. Then you got Sutherland on the other side. He's 0-2 in the UFC. His last fight, he's coming off a loss to Brando Pericic. Before that, he is coming off of a heel hook loss to Walter Walker. And honestly, there's really no shame in that. I mean, Walter Walker's snatching heels all over the place. So, that's kind of, But, this is, he's 0-2 in the UFC. And, the everybody knows how it goes. The motto is like, you drop 3 and that's pretty much it. You're pretty much done. He's never earned a UFC win, so he's probably on the chopping block. Then you got Tuivasa on the other side of this, who's 0-6 in his last 6. So, I mean, I know he's a fan favorite. Everybody knows he's a fan favorite. They love the shoes and stuff. But is he on the chopping block as well? I mean, how many losses do you get before it's like, all right, do you let him have an opportunity to beat Tony Ferguson's fucking record, To be honest with you, obviously, like I said, Tuivasa's got a losing streak. But if you start looking at those fighters, all 6 of those guys would beat Louie Sutherland in a fight too, for sure. So that doesn't really tell you much of anything going into this fight. This does seem like a layup fight for Tuivasa, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. That's a layup fight for him and in front of his home crowd, home country, and he's going to be able to go up there and maybe get the monkey off of his back. But you can definitely make a case for Sutherland getting this done. You can make a case for saying that Tuivasa's career is obviously maybe on the downward slide. He's only 33 years old or something like that. So for the heavyweight division, he's definitely not too old, but it's all in a matter of how serious is he taking this. When Tuivasa's in there in the octagon, he's always giving you a good performance. He's giving you everything he has. And you can always appreciate that as a fan, but at the same time too, it's really inconsistent from a betting perspective. How invested is he? Is he putting the time in the camps? Doing the cardios, doing the road work. Doing the things as far as diet, which I'm sure he probably doesn't really do that. But if he's not committed, then you got other guys in there like Louie Sutherland who's putting the time in and getting better and not taking a year and a half off to go party. You're going to start closing the gap. Tuivasa, if he's committed, or if this is 4, 5, 6 years ago, Tuivasa, this is a slam dunk, easy. But right now, it's definitely something where it kind of gives you a little bit of pause and makes you think, is Tuivasa gonna be able to end the losing streak here? Obviously, if he gets it done, leaning towards a knockout, he hasn't had a decision win in a long time. So, but that prop is sitting at minus 115. But like I said, you can make a case for Sutherland to get this done on the other side. If you look at the wins for Tuivasa, all of his UFC wins, he's only beaten one guy that's still currently in the UFC, and that was Derek Lewis. And that was a really good win. But if you make a case that says that Louie Sutherland is not UFC caliber, I think at this current juncture in his career, you can also make the same case for Tuivasa. I think if you want to go Sutherland, I think picking him by points, getting it done, that's sitting at plus 500 right now. Tuivasa, as maybe inconsistent as he is with his, he is durable. He's a durable guy. He might be inconsistent with his effort and performance, but he is durable and he comes to bang. So if Sutherland does get this done, I think I see that going the distance. But a prop that I like even more is this fight going the distance in general. That's sitting at plus 240 right now. And outside of this one getting done inside of the first 2 minutes, you know, I could definitely see this fight seeing the final bell. Both these guys have seen the final bell, I think, 5 times each or something like that. 4 times for Tuivasa and 5 times for Sutherland. So Sutherland, you know, obviously he's pretty familiar with going to the scorecards. So that at plus 240, that might be the sneaky value of this fight. That's all I got for you guys in this breakdown. Stop by for my next video where I'm giving you the rest of the prelims. There's a lot of money-making opportunities, but we're going to blast through that, so stop by for that. And then obviously we're going to give you the parlay videos. I'm really excited about this fucking card, so there's a lot of money-making opportunities. Stop by for that one. And that's all I got for you guys. I'm the fuck out of here.